according to a Reuters report, that is, if geopolitical risk, including a possible invasion of Ukraine, doesn't derail plans. After a difficult few years, Russian IPO activity picked up thanks to global economic recovery from the pandemic, a surge in stock markets, and an increased number of private investors. Although there could be some newcomers to public markets, including some possible international IPOs, the numbers aren't particularly encouraging. In 2021, Russian companies raised about $7 billion in IPO and secondary listings. That's up $1 billion more than the previous year. Compare that to the US, where $76.3 billion was raised in IPOs in 2020 and 2021. That number was already exceeded, standing at $89 billion by the end of the second quarter. Tesla's CEO Elon Musk said the company would begin accepting Dogecoin for the purchase of its merchandise. Dogecoin, the meme coin Elon Musk helped to surge by almost 6,000% in 2021, was up 20% after the announcement on Twitter, trading at 20 cents. Although he did not say what merchandise could be purchased, Tesla sells items ranging from $50 to $1,900. Some items, such as giant Giga Texas belt buckles, mini models of its vehicles, as well as Cyberquad for kids, are just some of the examples. Earlier in the year, for a short time, Tesla was subsequently suspended accepting payments in the world's largest cryptocurrency by value. Musk has over 66 million followers on Twitter and is well known for marking market value of cryptocurrencies, among others, go up or down by billions after just one of his tweets. China has reported its first case of the Omicron coronavirus from a Polish woman who tested positive for the variant upon arrival in the northern port city of Tianjin on December 9th. Poland's Ministry of Health confirmed that the positive test for the Omicron in Tianjin was indeed a Polish woman on Tuesday. On Monday, news of the new variant making its way to mainland China for the first time was reported by the Taijin Mail on Monday. China, which hosts some of the most restrictive COVID regulations in the world, also known as the zero transmission policy, is likely responsible for China's ability to quickly contain the spread of the virus in the world's most populous country. The teenager traveled to China from Warsaw and tested negative prior to departure. One of the persons on the flight is set to host the Winter Olympics beginning on February the 4th. The US and UK and Australia have announced diplomatic boycotts to the upcoming Winter Games. Athletes and visitors are expected to be kept in a closed-loop bubble, the New York Times reported, for the duration of their stay in China.
And now it's time for the Chat Box with David Kennedy.
Hello and welcome to the Chat Box. My guest today is Aura Sabados of ICIS. Aura, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure, David. Thank you.
Now, it's been quite a year in the energy market. Just looking at gas, there's been several issues as regards supply, and geopolitics have been coming into it more and more often. Of course, the big situation has been with Nord Stream and Ukraine. But leaving that aside, there are other issues regarding gas supply. And that's a case where relations with Gazprom have been fairly heated this year. Aura, what's the situation now?
Moldova, as you correctly pointed out, has had a number of issues earlier this year, and more specifically in October, when Moldova was supposed to renew a contract with Gazprom, but it was just given an extension, a 1-month extension, to receive gas. But in fact, instead of getting 100% volumes, it only got maybe 3/4 of it. And there were real concerns that Moldova might freeze this winter. Quite interestingly, Moldova for the first time ever started to buy gas on the so-called spot market. So it went out to companies and it asked for support. It asked for gas to be sold to for its own needs. And a Polish company, Pignik, the state company,
Polish oil and gas, yes.
Exactly. The first Polish oil and gas company, the state company, Pignik, started to sell the first 1 million cubic meter on a spot basis.
And
that
what
was
is that going to look like next year? I mean, they managed to save their winter for at least for a while.
They managed to save the winter simply because they made some concessions and they accepted to sign a contract with Gazprom, and Gazprom is now delivering 100% volumes. But this came at a cost, as I said. Some concessions had to be made, and one of these concessions was to put on